NASA says its Voyager One probe, the most distant human-made object, is sending usable information to Earth again.
It seems to be a hardware problem. Flight data subsystem, so one of the computers on board, has broken.
Voyager One just sent a shocking message from deep space, and it's definitely not from Earth. This old spaceship caught a neutrino signal it wasn't built to see, floating billions of miles away. The strange message isn't random noise. It's full of prime numbers in a clear, repeating pattern. Tune in, because buried inside Voyager's last message might be proof that something, or someone, is trying to speak to us. What did Voyager just pick up? Something strange showed up in Voyager One's latest signal. Not just strange, completely off the charts. This old machine, launched back in the late 1970s, drifting far beyond the edge of our solar system, sent back something no one expected. The message wasn't made of normal radio waves. It had something else inside. Something Voyager One was never meant to catch. Neutrinos. Inside those neutrinos was a pattern that somehow matched an old signal we were told to forget. Neutrinos are tiny. They move through everything. Through stars, through planets, even through people. Trillions of them go through your body every second and you never feel a thing. They do not stop, they do not bounce, and they almost never leave a trace. Scientists use huge underground labs just to try and see one of them. That is how hard they are to detect. But somehow, Voyager One picked up a clear signal that matched a known neutrino pattern. That should not be possible. Voyager One has no special equipment to detect neutrinos. It does not have sensors made for that. It is nearly 50 years old, running on a fading battery, and floating more than 15 billion miles away. It is the farthest object humans have ever sent out there. And yet, from that great distance, it sent a signal that was not just noise. It followed rules. It had structure. It repeated with purpose. The signal showed up during routine checks. At first, people thought it was broken equipment. They checked for solar interference, for space dust, for problems in the computer. But nothing matched. It was not random. It was not messy. It had shape. It repeated in ways that looked like math. Not just simple patterns, but deep ones. The kind you do not get by accident. When computers were used to study the signal, things got even more strange. They found that the pattern matched the way neutrinos behave. Neutrinos do not stay the same as they move. They shift from one type to another. Scientists call this oscillation. That same process showed up in the Voyager signal, even though the spacecraft should have no way to see it. Experts across the globe started to dig into the data. They checked past signals. They ran new tests. The signal did not match any star activity. It did not match any known object. Then came the part that made everyone stop and stare. The pattern inside the signal showed prime numbers. That is, numbers that only divide by one in themselves. These numbers were in a certain order. That order matched a geometric shape. This is important. Prime numbers in this kind of setup do not happen in nature by accident. They are often used in science fiction stories about intelligent signals, because they are simple, but not too simple. Nature does not line them up like that without a reason. Some researchers started to wonder if Voyager One had not detected neutrinos directly, but had stumbled into a signal made of them. Something from far away might have passed through space. Voyager One, by luck, drifted into it. That would mean something out there might be using neutrinos on purpose to send a message. Others pushed back. They said this had to be something new in space. Something natural, but not yet known. A cosmic event, maybe. A type of explosion or a strange star. But the structure of the pattern kept bothering them, because nature does not usually arrange itself in tidy math like this. Another idea came up. A new kind of neutrino. Right now, science knows about 3 types, but there might be a 4th. One that barely interacts with anything at all. Some call it the sterile kind. If this signal shows signs of that 4th type, it could be the first time anyone has ever seen it. That could help solve big space puzzles, like why the universe is made the way it is. But again, the same question came up. How did an old spacecraft with no tools find something brand new? People started checking Voyager 2, which is flying in a different part of space. They wanted to see if it had picked up anything similar. So far, nothing. That makes the Voyager One signal even stranger. Was it a one-time thing, or is it still out there? Scientists went back to Earth-based detectors. Big ones buried under mountains or frozen in ice. They turned their attention to space, watching for any neutrino signal that matched what Voyager saw. If they find the same pattern from another direction, it could mean this signal is real, not a fluke. Even without answers, the pattern keeps showing up in the data. It is clean, it is organized, it does not match anything from the sun or from stars. The numbers inside it point to a mind behind the message, or at least a process that acts like a mind. Teams are checking all the old transmissions from Voyager One, every signal it ever sent. Maybe this pattern was in the background the whole time. Maybe it showed up before and no one noticed. Now that they know what to look for, they are rescanning everything, line by line. They are also building models, trying to see if neutrinos could really be used to send messages across space. Turns out it makes sense. Neutrinos do not get blocked by dust, stars, or even black holes. They can travel for light years and not lose shape. That makes them good for long-distance messages, but it also makes them hard to catch. If someone out there was trying to say something, neutrinos might be their best choice. But then comes the big mystery. Who would send that? Why now? And how did Voyager 1 end up in the way of it? The signal may have been short, but it left behind a mountain of questions. All we have is the data. No other probe has seen it. No other telescope has spotted it. And the power in Voyager 1 is fading. It will go silent soon. When that happens, this signal might be the last thing it ever sends. As scientists studied Voyager's signal, another telescope looked deeper into space. Galaxies too young to exist. Imagine building a camera so good it doesn't just take pictures of stars. It reaches back in time. That's what this space thing, James Webb, has been doing. Since it left Earth 3 years ago, it's been digging through the past like an intergalactic archaeologist. Not with shovels, but with heat vision, looking way back to when space first began. First up, a galaxy shaped kind of like a hat. They call it the Sombrero Galaxy. But let's be real, it looks more like a cosmic donut. Using heat-sensing tools, it caught soft glowing rings and lumpy chunks hidden in the dust. You wouldn't get that from regular pictures. Then came the greedy black hole. It was found inside a tiny galaxy from about 1.5 billion years after the start of everything. This thing is a space monster, eating stuff over 40 times faster than anyone thought was possible. Like a vacuum cleaner with no off switch. Then there's Vega, one of the brightest stars you can see. Webb looked at it and found dust. Not just any dust, but a wide, smooth pancake of it. No big planets hanging around. Just dust. Like Vega threw a party and no one showed up. Now about galaxies crashing into each other. Webb caught a spiral one and an oval one getting pulled together like spaghetti and meatballs. Their shapes are all bent now, twisted by gravity. And out on the edge of our own galaxy, Webb spotted baby stars being born in dark clouds. These young stars are huge, hidden in twisted shapes of gas and dust. Kind of like space is painting with smoke. A question mark floating in space? It happened. 2 galaxies behind a giant gravity lens. Their light got bent into a curve. The universe made a punctuation mark. Then it found some galaxies that shouldn't be there yet. They are too big and bright to be that young. They popped up just 500 million to 700 million years after the beginning, which means something in space grew up way too fast. Next up, a gas giant planet 12 light years away that's as cold as your fridge. Webb saw it directly. And another planet? One side is always morning, the other is always night. The weird part? The night side is hotter. Doesn't make sense, but that's what was found. Now there's the penguin and the egg. 2 galaxies dancing together for about 70 million years. Their shapes got pulled like taffy, and it really looks like a penguin hugging an egg. A baby star showed up, still growing. Webb caught it shooting glowing gas out both ends in an hourglass shape. A thin ring of dust feeds the star from the middle, like a baby bottle in space. In a spot called the Serpent's Nebula, red streaks shoot out of baby stars. These streaks match the magnetic fields there. Stars might have space wires built into their hair. The Crab Nebula is the leftover mess after a star blew up. Webb peered inside and found ropes of glowing gas in areas where new stars are being made. Then it spotted 2 stars only 4 million years old. Tossing jets of gas, Webb caught both of them in mid-fling. Way back in time, some early galaxies are still pulling in coal gas and making stars. Basic stuff like helium and hydrogen turning into fireballs. Next up, the Marshmallow Planet. Big, puffy, and missing methane. The inside must be hotter than expected. Webb measured wind on another gas planet, over 8,000 kilometers per hour. That's not wind, that's a turbo storm. We got the sharpest look ever at the Horsehead Nebula. Still doesn't look like a horse, but the shapes are wild. Another galaxy is making stars 10 times faster than ours. Webb even found alcohol floating in the frozen parts. Space has its own kind of party. In the Triangulum galaxy, over 200 young stars glow together like a bright crowd of toddlers. Webb peeked into a supernova left over from 1987. It may have found the dense core still hiding inside, a small but powerful dot. And galaxies shaped like noodles? Surfboards? That's what the oldest ones look like in Webb's images. A dust cloud shaped like a cat's tail came up. Near it, a brown dwarf had an aurora glowing near its top. No sun needed. It lit up on its own. Webb looked at Uranus and spotted 11 out of 13 known rings. Even the super faint one showed up. Then it zoomed in on leftovers from another blown-up star. Glowing clumps of sulfur and neon looked like scattered paint blobs. The Herbig-Haro spots, places around baby stars, were glowing again. Jets from the babies crashed into nearby gas and made everything light up. In the middle of our own galaxy, Webb found 500,000 stars smashed together, with blue needle shapes cutting across the view. It teamed up with another telescope and captured a galaxy cluster full of color, light, and layers, all mashed into one huge picture. Back on Jupiter, Webb found a jet stream racing across the sky at more than 500 kilometers per hour, far above the cloud tops. Carbon was found on the icy crust of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. It probably came from deep below, not from the outside. Webb spotted a star called Arundel. It's the farthest one ever seen, shining from 28 billion light-years away. Then came El Gordo, a huge cluster stretching space so much that background galaxies look like they've been pulled into waves. Another pair of baby stars was found throwing out glowing jets, slamming into dust and making colorful shock waves. Water vapor was spotted in a spot where rocky planets like Earth could form. That's a big deal for understanding planet birth. On its birthday, Webb pointed at the nearest star factory and saw a whole bunch of baby stars waking up. 2 dusty supernovas showed up. The kind of dust they spit out might help build new stars and planets later. 10 galaxies formed a space web more than 800 million years after the beginning. It shows how gravity pulls space together. Webb stared at a spiral galaxy with a bright bar in the middle. That bar is pulling gas in and helping stars get born at the center. Then there's the water plume coming off Saturn's moon Enceladus. It's over 9,000 kilometers long, way bigger than the moon itself. A mini Neptune showed up 40 light-years away. Its clouds shine and it might be full of steamy water vapor. Closer to home, 2 galaxies smashed into each other and lit up. Over 200 bright star clusters came out of that crash. A new look at a supernova 11,000 light-years away showed bright knots and clouds spreading out fast. Then there's a rocky planet called TRAPPIST 1b. The day side is over 230 degrees Celsius. That heat isn't moving around. No air to help. One star is about to blow up. It's big, short-lived, and glowing like it's ready to burst. 3 galaxy clusters are crashing together. It's a mega mashup, creating giant space lenses that bend the light from farther stuff. A plain asteroid about 200 meters wide got caught in the camera. It shows Webb can spot small stuff too, not just stars. Then there's dust from 2 planets that smashed into each other. Webb saw the whole dusty ring, glowing like an aftershock. Far out in the small Magellanic Cloud, a place full of baby stars showed up. Webb found dust and hydrogen swirling like batter in a bowl. In the Carina Nebula, it saw baby star jets glowing red, caught in the act of being born. Then it checked out the Southern Ring Nebula. Turns out there might be 3 stars there, not 1, and they've been shaping the dust into swirls. It caught the pillars of creation again, but this time just the gas and dust, no stars. The picture looked like space smoke. A red quasar popped up inside a galaxy cluster from 11 billion years ago, hidden in dust but still glowing bright. 17 rings were found around a star pair. Every 8 years, they crash into each other and make a new dust ring. Looks like a fingerprint in space. It watched a spaceship crash into an asteroid. Earth was testing a move, and Webb caught the whole hit. Neptune showed off rings we haven't seen clearly in over 30 years. 7 of its moons popped into view too. One of them, Triton, looked like it was glowing. The Tarantula Nebula gave up its secrets too. Thousands of stars, all packed into space like a glowing crowd. Last one, the Cartwheel Galaxy. After a crash with another galaxy, it ended up shaped like a giant wheel, with stars forming in both rings like sparks flying off a grinder. While Webb watched from a distance, others tried landing right on a dangerous planet. Soviet landers versus the Hell Planet. Venus doesn't care about your fancy parachutes. That's what the Soviets figured out the hard way. They thought they were going to float down gently, gather some numbers, maybe take a picture. Venus didn't play nice. It just crushed their gear and kept going. Back in the early 1960s, the Soviet Union picked Venus as their favorite science project. Not Mars, not the Moon, Venus. They launched probe after probe, each one packed with hopes and old-school metal. The first two didn't even make it all the way. They broke down before getting close. Then came one that smashed right into the planet. No landing gear, no gentle touch. Just full-speed crash. Still, it was the first human-made thing to ever hit another planet. That counted for something. Venus looked friendly from Earth, wrapped in clouds and glowing in the night sky. But those clouds are thick with poison, and they trap heat like an oven with the door shut. Scientists back then guessed it might be tropical down there. Maybe jungles, maybe even strange animals. But one astronomer warned them it was probably a boiling mess. Turned out, he was right. The Soviets sent more probes, each one stronger than the last. Some had parachutes, some had metal shells as thick as tank armor. One even had a time parachute that would open late, trying to dodge the worst of the heat. Didn't work. The parachute melted. The lander dropped like a brick, hit the surface hard, and bounced. But it still managed to send data back. By 1970, they got real numbers. The temperature was over 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt lead. The pressure was 90 times higher than Earth. It was like standing 1 kilometer under the ocean, but in air. And if that wasn't enough, the atmosphere had sulfuric acid, the kind of stuff inside car batteries. Still, the missions kept coming. One lander sent the first photo. Jagged rocks, cracked ground, no plants, no signs of life. Another one recorded sound. Just wind, slow and steady, like a haunted cave. One drill dug into the surface and found ash from ancient volcanoes. The color pictures came later. Dusty ground, broken stones, hints of distant hills. The final missions had cameras with covers, drills, even microphones. Some photos showed flat rock plains, others showed rougher spots. And through it all, the Soviets kept landing, even when each machine only lasted minutes. They made it work, even when Venus tried to tear them apart. Did the Soviets discover something on Venus they never told us about? Like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more.